very soon, I will be retiring peacefully to start working as a social entrepreneur. Social entrepreneurship is an approach by individuals, groups, startup companies, or entrepreneurs in which they develop, fund, and implement solutions to social, cultural, or environmental issues.
Your teacher, Michael Aidera from Nairobi, Kenya.
Jina langu ni Kikisi Kube, mwenza wa Bwana Michael Aidera. Nina furaha sana kujitolea kama mmoja wa walimu katika mradi huu wa Kiswahili.
Kiswahili Digital Academy is an app that is designed after 11 years of research in the United States, and the main objective of this app is to cut down the cost of operations of our schools, the schools that are going to offer the CBC curriculum in Africa. Since charity begins at home, we are going to start with my country of birth, the Republic of Kenya, before we can move to another country. As you can see from my screen, our motto is many schools, one digital academy, and that is our website over there. Ladies and gentlemen, kindly allow me to move to the next slide. Once again, my name is Pius Odhiambo. I'm a data scientist, a digital teacher, and a philanthropist based in the United States, in Washington, D.C., in the United States of America. I'm currently the lead data scientist at Blue Nile Analytica. That's our website. Blue Nile Analytica was fortunate enough to be part of the team that developed Bachelor of Data Science degree at the Open University of Kenya. The last time I checked, that course is attracting the highest number of students that particular university. I'm also a licensed math teacher with Maryland State Department of Education in the United States of America. I'm a registered math and physics teacher with Teacher Service Commission of Kenya. I taught with Teacher Service Commission of Kenya for 10 years before I relocated to the United States of America. Currently, I'm a math teacher at Parkdale High School. This is a CBC digital school in the state of Maryland in the USA. I'm also an adjunct professor of data science at Trinity Washington University in Washington, D.C. in the United States of America. For my education, I went to Luero Primary School and St. Mary's Ukwala High School, both in Siaya County, in western part of Kenya. I also attended Kenyatta University in Nairobi, Kenya. When I relocated to the United States, I attended the University of Maryland Global Campus, George Washington University in Washington, D.C. in the United States, and University of Texas at Austin, the state of Texas, and finally Bowie State University in the state of Maryland in the United States. My achievements are, I'm the creator of Kiswahili Digital Academy. That's our website. I'm the Director General of Blue Nile Analytica. That's again our website. I'm the founder of Kiswahili Scholarship Fund. To date, since COVID-19, we have sponsored over 350 students go through high school. Some of those students have graduated from the university as medical doctors, as teachers, as computer scientists, as nurses, and they are right now working with different organizations in different parts of the world, contributing to the economy of those regions in their own small way. I'm a honorary listee at McHugh in America, and I'm also a member of the Alpha Chi Society of America. In the second section, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna talk about the structure of the app that is under development. It will consist of 3 modules. The first module is Kiswahili Learning Management System. I know there are so many learning management systems over there, but this one is specific to Kiswahili, is being developed by Kiswahili, and therefore we are calling it the Kiswahili Learning Management System. In the second module, we are going to develop a dynamic digital library. This is a library that uses a dynamic digital textbook. This is a textbook, the first of its kind in the world. The United States of America, where I live, is a highly developed and an advanced country, but even here, we don't have this kind of textbook. In this kind of textbook, the last section of the last module of the app, in the first 2 modules, we're going to generate revenues, and part of the revenue raised will be taken back to schools, which shall have subscribed to this particular innovation. And we will use that money, one, to digitize those schools, and two, to give scholarship to vulnerable and financially vulnerable students and that are from financially disadvantaged background. So, ladies and gentlemen, allow me now to talk about module number 1, learning management system. When we talk about learning management system, what are you referring to? The first one is the Kiswahili digital register, and this is a digital register that will use a smart card. A smart card is that kind of card that is like the ATM card that we use in our banking system. When we're talking about a digital register, what am I referring to? I'm referring to attendance, and discipline tracking register in our school system. With this innovation, we want the book register that are currently being used in our school to be replaced with a digital register. In this kind of register, students will be issued with a smart ID, staff will be issued with a smart ID, and when class teachers go to classes to mark the register, they will be marking this register on their phone, on a tablet, on a tablet, and also on their desktop computers as well as their laptops. That is what we are referring to as a digital register. Now we also have digital stroke remote. So this was the digital register. Why are we investing in the digital register? You know, if you are able to motivate both students and teachers to come to class, then any other problem that our schools face in the implementation of the CBC curriculum will just fall in place. When the attendance is 100%, students will be in class, they will be taught, they will be able to grasp concept. When they are given an exam, be it an end-term exams, be it just a cut like a test, or be it a national exam, we expect performance to improve. That is why we are so much focused on the digital attendance register. Now, the second one with digital stroke remote, digital stroke remote teaching stroke learning. Here is whereby we are going to have digital teachers, digital educators, and students will be able to log into our system and have access to our digital classes. In this particular unit of this module, we intend to reduce teacher shortages as well as the unplanned teachers absenteeism. I missed lesson due to unplanned teachers absenteeism. So when the principal is making his rounds in the normal in a morning and find out that a teacher has been absent from school, when he try to reach out the teacher to do a telephone call, the teacher is not picking his call. 7 years later, 1 week later, when the teacher appears, the teacher comes back with legal documents why he was absent. Maybe he was even sick in hospital. He is hospitalized. But the thing is, the teacher has got a legal reason why he was absent. You can't interdict him. You can't even deduct his pay. But what about me, the parent? What about the student? The student has lost learning hours. How do you go about this? The only way out of this is this. Now, when the principal realizes the teacher is absent, he doesn't know the reason why the teacher is absent, and there's no alternative replacement. He just logs into the digital platform and have the students be taught using our digital teachers. By doing that, the students will not be missing learning hours. Learning will continue whether the traditional teacher is present or the traditional teacher is absent. That is why you need that particular unit of this particular module. And here, a Kiswahili trained digital educator like all of you will be able to teach. Just one of you will be able to teach in 10,000 schools in all the 47 counties in Kenya. Also, the last one is school financial management analyst. analysis, and then the last one, the fourth one, is digital dynamic digital timetable. With the CBC curriculum converting one big high school into multiple schools through the pathways, timetabling will be a problem. Shortages of teachers will be real, and even coming up with a timetable will be a very big problem. So we're coming up with a tool where the principals of the schools, or the deputy of the principals, or the senior master, whoever is in charge of timetabling, will just come into our platform and key in the subjects they have or they want to offer, the time they want to offer the lessons, the teachers they have, the subjects that those teachers teach, and boom, when they click a button, they will have the master timetable from the school. The same applies to the timetable for the student, the timetable for the teacher, the timetable for the streams, and the timetable for the classes. That is all available on Kiswate Learning Management System. And the good news about this module is that in number one, Kiswate Digital Register via Smart ID, and number four, Dynamic Digital Timetable will be available on the App Store on the 20th of December 2025. Any school within the Republic of Kenya that is offering the CBC curriculum in the senior secondary school will be free to go to the App Store from 20th of October and download that app for free and play with the app as much as he or she wishes. That is the good news. That is why we are having this meeting. I told you, I promised all my supporters that I'm going to be away. And when I come back, the app will be operational. On 20th of October, the app will be available on the App Store. Now, Kiswate Digital, Dynamic Digital Library, we have talked about Dynamic Digital Textbook. I don't want to repeat that. Dynamic Digital Lesson Plans, Worksheets, and answer keys. I'm going to do a demonstration on this later on my presentation. And we are also going to have dynamic digital schemes of work. We are also, another one, we're going to have dynamic exams analysis and dynamic digital exams. And now, finally, we are going to have Kiswate Scholarship application, whereby you have to use the paper. You just go online and do an online application. If you come from one of the schools that shall have subscribed to our services, you are a student, you are vulnerable, and you come from a financially disadvantaged background, we will be able to give you a scholarship. So in the next section of my presentation, this is what I've already talked about in the charts. I've said the Kiswate Learning Management System, KLMS, will consist of Kiswate Digital Register via Smart ID, Dynamic Digital Timetable, Lesson Plan, Worksheets, and Answer Key Generator, remote digital remote teaching and learning, and school financial management and analysis. Out of these units in the first module is only the last bullet that is not available right now. Otherwise, from 20th of September, we're going to have bullet number 1, number 2. Now we have been using bullet number 3. And bullet number 4, Mr. Hendera and his team is working on that. They will not confirm to us whether we'll be able to launch that on the 20th of December too. So Kiswate Dynamic Digital Library, we are working on this. We have written a proposal to the Ministry of Education because it is too expensive. Some of the publishers are asking for money that is beyond our control, and this will help. Since this will help the Ministry of Education to reduce the cost of operation by reducing the cost of the textbooks from what it is right now to just 150 shillings per student per year. We are asking them to talk to the publisher so that they can provide us with the dynamic digital textbook at the cost of the Ministry of Education. And once we roll out this, and the students will be able to access this at only 150 shillings per student, we can refund that money to the ministry, the money that they will going to pay to the publishers, because right now as Kiswate, we cannot afford that particular money. Now we have digital exams, stroke analysis, and then we'll also have remote teacher recruitment. We want to recruit at least 50,000 TSC registered teachers within the next 1 year of operation. What will these teachers do? In this textbook, we're going to link these teachers to the textbook so that when the students subscribe to our textbook at a cost of only 150 shillings per year, it comes with an array of TSC registered teachers. So these teachers will be available to the student online when the traditional teacher is not available, either during weekends or during preps or during school holidays. So the tool that we are developing, that we are coming up with, is a complete tool, a comprehensive tool that will take care of the needs of the students when they are both at school and at home. School, they'll be taught by the traditional teachers, backed by the remote teachers. When they go home, they will have accessible to our remote digital educators who are TSC registered. So learning will continue uninterrupted, whether the students are at school or when the students are at home. The same applies when they strike. The same applies when the schools have been closed due to strike. Strike will not stop learning from taking place. Strikes will not stop teachers from giving homework online. So that is why this particular app is becoming very useful. Also, when there's a pandemic like COVID-19, students will continue learning at home because of the pandemic. They cannot continue learning at school, and we have seen this happening in the past. So we move on. So in this particular section, ladies and gentlemen, kindly allow me, I've already said that the app will be available on the App Store from December 20th, 2025. And we are going to use the Smart ID. And when we talk about Kiswahili Digital Register, what are we talking about? So this register will uses Smart ID technology to track attendance and discipline on per lesson basis. We are going to ask the Ministry of Education to change their policy. Class teachers will no longer be responsible for management of their classes in the CBC curriculum if our proposal goes through, given the fact that classes will no longer belong to the students, classes will belong to the teachers. They are going to use a system that is currently used in the university, where classes and lecture halls are allocated to the teachers. And then the students go to these classes to find teachers. The 844 system, the classroom belongs to the students. Teachers were moving from one class to the other looking for the students. In the CBE system, it is the reverse. That is why this tool is becoming very important and very handy in the implementation of the CBE system in the senior secondary school. Now, this particular register will empower teachers to act as class monitors during their lesson. It will also enable real-time visibility of student activity across all school departments, administration. If there's a school administration that's going to embrace this technology, then the school will become what we call a smart school because it uses a smart card technology. If there are parents, the parent will become a smart parent, whereby the parent does not need to go to school. The parent does not need to take a phone and call the principal, the class teacher, to find out how the student is faring. We will only give the student access on our system, and we will be able to see how the student, whether the student has been attending classes, whether the student is having some disciplinary problems, whether the student has been released by the school to go back home, or whether the student has reached the school and has been admitted into the school and is available in the class. Why? Because when a student arrives at the school gate and he checks in using the smart card, alert will be sent automatically to the parent that your son or your daughter has already arrived at school and is now within the school compound. This is the kind of technology we are talking about. We are going to involve parents in the management of their students, their children. When the children are within the school compound, we are going to track the student from the time the student enters the school gate on his first day in that school to the time the student is done with the 3-year education in the senior secondary school and is leaving the school gate. He will the card on the school gate, and the file for that student is closed after the 12th grade. And at the end of it all, we are going to have what is called data-driven school living certificate. We'll no longer give manual school living certificate. And if the card is used on a school bus, which is going for a trip, we are going to call that one a smart bus. If the card is used on a dining hall as a meal card, when we are giving meals, food to the students, we are going to call that one a smart dining card. This is very important. If the enrollment in school is 1,000 students, and the students have been sent away for school fees, or they have gone for a trip, and the number reduces to 600. We do not want our kitchen to make food for 1,000 students. We want our kitchen only to make food for 600 students. So we have made food for 600 students. The rest have gone for trips or are out of school due to whatever reason. So the difference, 400, the food we're going to save for 400 is a lot of money in one day, in 1 week, in 2 weeks, in 1 month, in 1 term, in 1 year. That money which we are going to save in the kitchen, new wastages, we can reallocate it. It can even build a laboratory in the school. This is what we are calling cutting down the cost of operation. Now, the head cook have looked at the attendance and now preparing food for 600 students. Now, when these students come to take their meals, we also want to track. They tap their card and they get the meal. They tap at the end of the shift, the meal shift, it could be lunch. We realized that we prepared meals for 600 students, and only 590 students came for the meal. Where are the 10 students? We flagged them. Where did they eat on that particular day? They ate elsewhere, funded that particular meal. This is how we are going to track students that are peddling drugs in our schools, because we have a group of students that come from very poor families. That is what we captured in the school record. But when it comes to school meal, they don't eat from the dining. Where is their food is coming from? Their food is being supplied by a vendor outside the school compound. When you look at the food they eat, the meals they're eating, it's too expensive and a teacher cannot afford. Now the question that comes into our mind is this. Now, one, this student is from a very poor family. Number two, this student does not eat in the dining hall. Number three, this student is eating money that eating food that even working class cannot afford. Where is the money coming from? The money is coming from for peddling of drugs. If we get this student using our register, even if it is one student, and expel this student from our school, we shall have saved a whole generation. So this particular app, these are the advantages. It will cut down the cost of running schools due to automation. It will increase efficiency. It will give us reliable attendance and reporting, reliable data and reporting for real-time informed data-driven decision-making. An example, we do know that the county directors, sub-county directors overload the principal by asking them to give the attendance data. The time the principal uses to read the emails, respond to the memos by collecting the data manual will no longer be there. Why? Because we'll give access to these sub-county directors and the county director and access to our dashboard, an online dashboard that will enable them to track the attendance records in Kenya on real-time basis. No more writing of emails, no more writing of memos to the principal. And this is something very good to the principal, because the principal will not now be stressed. The reporting will be accurate. And number three, the time that the principal uses to do this and now focus on any other part of the school administration that can add value to our employer, to the customer, the student. Now, our prayer to the Ministry of Education is that to give us the license, authority, the permission to roll out this digital register in senior secondary schools in Kenya, starting with the admission of grade 10 students in senior secondary schools in January 2026. You, as the profession, the teacher who has been trained free of charge from the school where you are coming from. When we go, you go back. We want you to take a leading role by training the rest of the members of the staff, including the principal, how the digital register is used to mark the attendance. This is the reason why we are giving you an invitation to attend the launch on 20th of December from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. so that problem or any question, you ask our team of experts, our vendors directly. So when you go to the school, you will now be the lead trainer. You will now be the lead expert. We are going to ask in our memorandum of understanding that we are going to sign with these schools. We're going to ask the board of management of those schools to allocate you some allowance for picking up that role. Because we are going to sign memorandum of understanding. Now, our prayer to the Ministry of that's our prayer to the Ministry of Education. Now, approvals from boards of management or piloting schools, 3 schools. 3 schools. 3 schools. 3 schools, that is Uyunda, Hawinga Girls, and Kagonya Secondary School have already, their boards of management has already given us approval to digitize the school, to use this register in their schools. 18 schools are promised to send their approvals by the end of January 2026, and 30 schools are yet to decide. Now, in the next section here, ladies and gentlemen, we have the digital remote teaching and learning. I've already talked about this. Teaching and learning will take place remotely with both educators and learners connected through Kiswahili Digital Academy app, where we have learning management system, dynamic digital library, and a scholarship fund. We'll use artificial intelligence to generate lesson plans, marksheets, and answer key for teachers. We have already demonstrated this and learn how this is done later. I'm going to do it once more. We are going to have a national transmission center for remote lessons for STEM pathway. This is English, literature, Kiswahili, Fasihi, commerce, essential maths, physics, chemistry, biology, computer studies, electricity, metalwork, and woodwork. So that when there are teacher shortages in those subjects or there are missed lessons in those subjects due to unplanned teachers' absenteeism, you can just log in from our digital classroom and have the students be taught through a digital teacher from our system. Advantages of this system is that digital teaching and learning will offer an effective solution to challenges of teacher shortages and unexpected or unplanned teachers' absenteeism. Sometimes you as a teacher, you might not feel going, you might wake up tired, you don't want to go to school, you just change the classroom to a digital mode and you teach from the comfort of your home. That's also another advantage. Now, one KDA trained digital teacher can teach in more than 10,000 schools at the same time. A demo is coming up soon. Our prayer to the Ministry of Education is to set up a national transmission center for Kiswahili. Kiswahili will manage the center to offer an alternative remote teachers to schools that cannot afford to hire board of management employed teachers. The center will comprise of 3 classes for grades 10, 11, and 12 in senior secondary schools, giving a total of 3 digital classrooms with 1 digital teacher per subject, teaching students in over 10,000 senior secondary schools at the same time across the 47 counties in Kenya. We have identified a contractor in China and South Korea. They are ready to come and put for us 3 digital classrooms and 1 digital lab at a cost of 6 million. At a cost of 6 million. That is our prayer to the Ministry of Education. Now, in this other section, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to talk about Kiswahili Dynamic Digital Library. It's the first dynamic digital library of its kind in the world. It uses the concept of dynamic digital textbook invented by a Kenyan teacher and a data scientist, Pius Odhiambo, who is based in Washington, D.C., USA. The book will be sold complete with the TSA registered digital teachers to assist the students when the traditional teachers at school, teacher at school is not available. This is during weekends, during preps, and during school holidays. It will reduce the cost of textbooks in Kenya to approximately $1. That's around 150 shillings per textbook per student per year. A demo is coming up soon. Our prayer to the Ministry of Education is to provide Kiswahili with the digital copies of the textbook for conversion to dynamic mode that will allow Kiswahili to use an AI to make it cheaper for the parents. Ladies and gentlemen, in this other section, we talk about Kiswati Scholarship Fund. Since COVID-19 in the year 2020, Kiswati has offered over 350 scholarships to high school students. Kiswati intends to use part of the revenue raised in this KDA project to offer scholarship to needy and vulnerable students in any school that will adopt the use of KDA technology. A demo, we are also going to have a demo for a digital math teacher in a CB6 school. And let me very quickly go back to the demo for lesson generator, and I'm going to move very quickly because teachers are already familiar with this. And so do a demo as a math teacher. I'm going to choose 11th grade, and let me choose 10th grade. And in 10th grade, I'm going to take the state of Maryland because it's 95% the CBE curriculum of Kenya. Duration, I'm going to take double lesson. And here I'm gonna, I used to love maths, but I also taught physics. So this time, let me use physics. And under physics, in fact, let me make it not 10th grade. I want to make it 11th grade. And here, there's a topic that I usually used to love, very difficult, and this is called projectile motion. If you took physics in high school, you will identify yourself with this topic called projectile motion. Students used to struggle. Students used to struggle about this particular topic, but I used to enjoy it. I used to enjoy it so much, projectile motion. So we now want to generate the lesson plan. You just click here, generate lesson plan, and you see our AI tool is already generating. It will not take a lot of time, just a couple of minutes. And boom, we are going to have that particular lesson plan. And I want you to compare the time you use in school in making a lesson plan for just one class manually as a teacher, and the time this particular app is going to use less than a minute. And this is our lesson plan for the projectile motion. As you can see, we go back to the app here by clicking more options. And when you click this more option, I want you to click create worksheets and answer sheets at the same time. Boom, it is generating. This one will take more than the time, a little more than the time that the other one has taken to generate the lesson plan, simply because the AI will even be giving the teacher marking scheme for the homework that the teacher is going to give the students. So as you can see, it is generating. We are also being reminded that an AI can make mistakes. Always double check lesson plans for content and accuracy. So after generating these ones as a professional teacher, you are supposed to check for accuracy. You can see today we have the name, we have the date, and we also have the class. In the first one that I did with Josephine earlier in the day, there was no class. And since this tool uses an AI, they captured that. They captured that comment. And right now, Josephine, if you are hearing me, you can see we now have a class. And now I want now to instruct the AI so that in the next demo, I want the AI also to include the stream and the school as one of this, the details that the student is supposed to fill. The name, date, class, stream, and school. Okay, this is the homework, and you are supposed to verify the homework if it meets your requirements. So here, define the following terms related to projectile motion. This is what we call range, maximum height, and time of flight. We're going to see, and then there's a problem here. We're going to see in now when we go to the answer key and check that if that is appropriate. So the definitions are here. What's a projectile motion? A projectile is a form of motion experienced by an object or a particle that is thrown near the Earth's surface and moves along a curved path under the action of gravity. And the horizontal motion has been defined, a vertical motion has been defined here, the range has been defined, the maximum height has been defined, the time of flight has also been defined. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is enough for the lesson plan generator. And now, how do we download that? You come to more options and then you say save as. a PDF, and here is the lesson plan. When you go to your folder under download, you'll find it there, and you can attach it on an email or send it on a WhatsApp. For example, I want to go there, or by first I get out of the presentation mode. You make sure you get out of the presentation mode. Yeah, I'm still on the presentation mode. Now I'm out of the presentation mode. And even to click the links, you have to get out of the presentation mode for the links to work for you. So I'm out of the presentation mode. Now I come here to my folder. And in this folder here, I'm going to have a download. And you see I have my lesson plan here for physics, 11th grade. Since I've known where it is, I now come back to my email. This is very important. You must know how this is done. And in my lesson plan here, I'm now on the minutes, on the email, sorry. And in this email here, I want to now send this to other teachers, to parents. I can also send to the students. One of the parents that is in my meeting is Michael Ahendera. That's the email. Michael Ahendera. Where's Michael Ahendera? I can't get Ahendera. You see, Michael. I'm going to use Ahendera and see. Yes, is Ahendera. Another one. I copy to Betty Kobe. Kobe, that's one of the parents. I also do it to Josephine Serega. Also do it to Levi Bushuru. This is very important. Levi Bushuru or Bush. Let me type. If that one cannot give me, let me type Bush. Yes, is already there. Another teacher that is there, let me see whether I will get him, Waweru. I can't see Waweru. I don't know how. Oh, Waweru, I don't usually. Yes, Joseph Waweru is there. I see Anne. I saw Anne entering. Let me see if I have Anne. I don't see Anne there. Let me add another name. If I add another name, maybe if it's not appearing, then I've never sent an email to her. I've also sent Eric Oduor, and I'm also going to send to Eric. There's another Eric. No, Collins Otieno. It is, I think that's enough number for demonstration. Maybe I've not added just for dialogue. So the subject is AI generated lesson plan. And this is physics, projectile motion. This part of the demo is very, very important. Please do not skip it. And then I come here. I know where my file is on the downloads. I come to the downloads here. And when I come to the download already confirmed, is this one here. And open it. And boom, when I click send, and everybody will receive that, regardless of where they are. I'm a teacher in Mombasa, and I have students in Kakamega, in Kisinyanza, and also in Nairobi. They're going to receive that. Well, why? Because we have gone digital. Now, ladies and gentlemen, at this particular point, kindly allow me to do a demo on another tool that I'm introducing today. You are the second group of my audiences that are going to have access to this tool. This is a very important tool for students, for teachers that are teaching mathematics. Some of the concepts in mathematics have been very abstract. Students do not understand them, and they resort to what we call cramming. We have also have data that shows that we have first class graduates with first class honors from the universities, but they can't get jobs simply because our education system is archaic, outdated, and need to employ the use of digital tools to make the students be relevant in the employment sector or in the job market. So one of those tools that is again free, most of our things are free, is called demos.com. You need to take, if you're a math teacher or a science teacher that usually draw graphs, you need to take note of this, www.desmos.com. And this is a math tool, it's a digital calculator, it's a digital or graphical calculator that you can use. You can see here graphing, scientific, four-function, matrix, geometry, and 3D. So in this tool, there are some of the concepts that are very abstract to the students. When they go to the job market, they don't need to know how to generate those things manually, concepts manually. And they just need to know how those concepts can be applied in the job market to solve a problem. When they go to the job market, they will be given a software, they will be given a digital calculator. So it is only important for us as Kiswati, as we train this student to pass the national exam and get impressive academic qualification. At the end of the training, when they graduate from the university, when those impressive academic qualification, first class honors, are unable to put food on the table for them, then the second part of our qualification, of our training, something that we're going to offer to our students, is to make sure that when those qualifications cannot put food on the table for them, they have something that they can do, can work on to make them or put food on the table, not only for their families, but for themselves, so that they don't get frustrated. That's why my team of researchers burning the midnight oil to come up with the tools like this one. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you are a science math teacher, you just click here on the graphing, and this thing is free. And as you can see, I have a graph, and I have a box here with a blinking cursor. Now, what you need to do, something like linear inequalities. Teaching of linear inequality should change with this presentation, with the coming in of Kiswati Digital Academy. Now look here. So I want to type an inequality, and this is, I can have x plus, Waweru, please pay attention, plus 4y. This is an inequality, is less than or greater than, let me say 45. Oh, no, let me say 4, like that, lesser than 4. And Waweru, if you will agree with me, you can see, let me make it smaller, so that, or let me also come out of this. You can see what has happened on the screen for yourself. We are no longer stressing with the student to test the logics. Which side of the equation of the inequality line should we shade? Should we shade the upper side or the lower side? Boom, it is already shaded. I'm going to have another inequality, Mr. Wawira. And look here, when I change this inequality sign to just that, to just that, you can see on my graph, it is now a dotted line. It is no longer 4 line. Now I come and put another one. I want solution. And this one, I'm going to have 2x plus 1. And no, let me put minus. Let's say like 5y. And this one is greater than, is greater than or equal to what number? Let me put 10. And we need a solution. Again, Mr. Waweru, as a math teacher and any other math teacher or science teacher in the congregation or in my presentation, you can see, I want to get out of this. Yes, you can see, I already have shaded, and you are seeing this line is a full line because we have an equal sign here. Is greater than or equal to. You can see this one is dotted because I have less than or greater than 4. So students struggle with this concept to test the logics on which part of the line to shade. With the invention of this tool, decimals.com, easy. We only, in the job market, we only need the student to know how to use the tool. We don't want them to test the logic. Now, how do we get the solution? We want to get the solution for this system, the systems of linear equation. We just come at the intersection here and you click, boom. And if you are a math teacher or a science teacher in the congregation, will agree with it, the solution is 0, -2. And then the student comes here and writes 0, -2 is the solution. And right now, something has happened. It is now 4.6. I don't know what has changed, and negative 0.15. That is the solution to this linear systems of education. I don't know what has changed, but the idea is here to demonstrate. Let me see. Yeah, this time I'm clicking on this. That's what is giving me that. Before, I think I was clicking on this, and this is the wrong part. This is 0, -2 is not the solution. The solution is where both lines are interceding, are meeting, and this is this. This is the correct solution. That's the core mistakes that I made. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that now brings me to the end of my presentation. And before I end my presentation, it is now time for questions and answers. And I'm going to take one question from a female teacher and one question from a male teacher. And then I'm going to take one question from a digitization engineer and another question from a digital educator. That is it. Please, it's now time for questions. I'm giving you only 1 minute to ask questions. Please, the floor is open for questions. Please ask me questions.
The Kiswate Digital Academy, founded by Pius Odhiambo, is a groundbreaking digital platform aimed at fostering the African Renaissance in the education sector. Specifically tailored for Kenya, the Academy addresses critical challenges in the implementation of the competency-based curriculum CBC for grades 7 through 12 in both junior and secondary schools. Key issues it seeks to resolve include: 1. Access to educational materials. Many students lack textbooks in certain thematic areas, and where available, these resources are often prohibitively expensive. School calendar disruptions. Unforeseen events such as illnesses, pandemics, for example the COVID-19, school strikes, and natural disasters like floods frequently disrupt the academic calendar. 3. Data-driven decision-making. There is a notable absence of reliable online attendance and learning data, which is crucial for informed decision-making in curriculum implementation. Pius Odhiambo, the visionary behind Kiswate, is a trained science teacher and an award-winning data scientist, a philanthropist based in the Washington, D.C., United States of America. His contributions have earned him a place on the Marquis Who Is Who in America, highlighting his international recognition and impact.
Very soon, I will be retiring peacefully to start working as a social entrepreneur. Social entrepreneurship is an approach by individuals, groups, startup companies, or entrepreneurs in which they develop, fund, and implement solutions to social, cultural, or environmental issues.
The Kiswate Digital Academy is structured around 3 course components. Digital library. This will provide students and teachers with access to a vast array of digital textbooks and educational resources online, ensuring that learning materials are both accessible and affordable. 2. Learning management system LMS. This system will enable teachers to conduct remote lessons and allows school principals to recruit emergency or substitute teachers from a distance. It will also facilitate continuous learning for students regardless of physical location. 3. Scholarship system. This component will offer financial support to deserving students, ensuring that economic barriers do not hinder access to quality education. By leveraging these components, Kiswate Digital Academy aims to create a resilient and flexible educational environment. Students will have uninterrupted access to digital textbooks and teachers, while educators will be equipped with the tools needed for effective and remote teaching. This initiative not only addresses immediate educational challenges but also lays the foundation for a more robust and adaptable education system in Kenya, capable of withstanding future disruptions and fostering long-term academic success.